This week, I'll lead you through a sequence that I created for myself to manage my back pain. So I want to share it with you. And this yoga sequence focuses on creating stability over mobility along the spine and in the core. Let's get started. There are many reasons people might have back pain and many causes for back pain. So it's really important that before you start to practice yoga for your back pain, you understand where it's coming from and what's good and what's not so good for your back pain. So if you are in any doubt, see your doctor or your physiotherapist and check with them what they recommend before you engage in any kind of exercise for your back pain. This sequence is something that I created and use for my own back pain and managing it. So it might help you, it might not help you. So just listen to your body, and if anything hurts, don't do it and just stop the practice there. A couple of props that I have for today. I have a folded towel. This could also be some kind of folded blanket. We'll use it under the shoulders in a bridge pose. And then I have an optional bolster. If you want to use it throughout the practice, you can use it, but you don't have to. And that's it. We are going to start from lying down on the back. So find yourself onto your back, and I'm suggesting to leave the knees bent so that it's maybe a bit easier to find a neutral spine. We'll do a little bit of breathing before we go any further into movements. And first, just give yourself a couple of relaxed breaths. If it helps, you might rock the pelvis from side to side or tilt the pelvis a bit back and forth to find your neutral spine and neutral pelvis. Often there is a small gap under the lower back when we find that neutral spine, and we respect those curves of the spine, those natural curves that we have from the tailbone all the way up to the neck. Make sure that this first pose is not painful. And then if you want, you can bring hands onto your body. So it could be one hand on the belly and then other hand under the lower back, just so you're aware of whether you are keeping that natural curve, that natural arch in the lower back, or if you start to tilt the pelvis when we just focus on breathing first. And here I'm suggesting we do this Pilates type of breathing. Inhaling through the nose. This can be a full breath in all the way down to the belly. And then as you exhale, let out a hissing sound. And at the same time, draw in through the lower belly, so below the navel. Draw in through the sides, a bit like squeezing toothpaste out of that tube. You are gently squeezing the breath out. And we'll just practice that a few rounds. So in breath all the way down to the belly. And then exhale with that hissing sound. Start from the lower belly. Keep breathing, drawing in through all sides of the torso towards the spine without losing that natural arch under the lower back. And again, breathing in. And breathing out, start gently squeezing the breath out. Without pressing the lower back onto the mat, so maintain that natural curve. And we'll do a few rounds, a few more rounds. Inhale, full breath in. And then start that hissing sound. And just continue. That hissing sound also helps you to maintain the length in the out breath, so you can breathe out for longer. You're regulating the out breath. 2 more breaths. Inhale. You can take a full breath in. And then exhale, squeezing the air out. And what we're doing here, we're starting to engage the deep, deep core muscles, that kind of natural corset around the spine, creating support. Let's do one more round. Inhale fully. Send the in-breath all the way down, and then exhale, start from the pelvic floor, from the lower belly. And then just take a couple of relaxed, natural breaths. It's that kind of deep engagement that we're looking for throughout the practice. And we're going to use quite a lot of exhalations for movements. So with each breath out, you can check if you can maintain that support or create that kind of corset type support along the spine. Now next, we're going to go into some bridge movements. And for the bridge, I'm going to bring this folded towel under my shoulders, kind of under my shoulder blades, so that my neck, my head go over that support. And this gives more space for the neck. I know that I sometimes get some pain in the back in bridge pose because the pose is pushing too much onto the neck. So what this towel does, it gives us more space for the neck when we lift the pelvis up. So once you have yourself ready, first inhale on the mat, and then start that hissing breath exhalation. Start to draw in through the abdominals, through the deep, deep core muscles. And then at the end of that exhalation, press down through the feet to lift the pelvis, to lift the back into your maybe quite low bridge. Inhale, stay up in your bridge. And then as you exhale, slowly, slowly control your back and your pelvis down. And then inhale once you're down on the mat. And we'll repeat this. So inhale, and as you exhale, start to draw in through that core support. And at the end of that exhalation, lift the pelvis, lift the back slightly off the mat. Now maintain that support and breathe in towards the ribs, towards the chest, keeping the belly drawn in. And then exhale, slowly control your way down. Inhale on the mat. We'll repeat this a few times. Again, exhale, staying on the mat. And at the end of that exhalation, we lift the pelvis, lift the back slightly off the mat. And stay up there. Inhale towards the chest, so you can keep that core support going on. And then as you exhale, slowly come back down, controlling your way down. Let's do 2 more rounds. Inhale on the mat. Exhale. Slowly lift the pelvis, lift the back off the mat. Feel the feet, the backs of the legs active, buttocks gently active. Inhaling towards the ribs, towards the chest. And then exhale, slowly control the way down. Let's do 1 more round. And you control how high up you want to go. Slowly lifting up at the end of the out breath. Staying there, breathing towards the chest and ribs. And then as you exhale, to slowly control your way down, keeping that support for the spine. And then we are down on the mat. Now, if you want, you can remove the towels, the blankets from under the back. And then hug your knees in towards the belly, towards the chest. You could rock a bit from side to side. Take a couple of breaths in and out, and you could send these breaths towards the back. And then we're going to just circle the hips a bit. So now we're just going to give some movement for the hips. And we start by circling both knees out to the sides, away from the chest, and then back in and towards the chest. So the legs circle in opposite directions. And this could be a very small circle. If you want, you can support the knees with your hands. Or this could be a bigger circle, maybe not using the hands at all. So maybe we are asking a bit more work from the core. You decide what feels good. And your pelvis might move here a bit. It might rock kind of back and forth a bit. But if that causes pain in the back, then just keep the circle really small and just focus on the hips moving. Now let's change the direction of those circles. If you are going through bigger circles, really focus on the core, that you're keeping it active, that we don't let the back kind of flop back and forth, but we are supporting through the core, through the spine, on all sides. So the abs are not just at the front, they hug to the side, and our deep back muscles are part of that core support as well. Let's do one more circle. And then we'll pause there, hug the knees in one more time. And then we're going to turn onto all fours. So you could roll onto one side. Bring yourself onto hands and knees. And here you could use your towel or blanket under the knees if you want to have some support for the knees, because we are going to have a few poses on the knees. And the very first one is child's pose. So round your back. And now you decide, and you can experiment if you want to have your knees close together. For me, that feels better at the moment in the back. Or if you would like to open your knees wider apart. But see if you could bring your head down either onto the mat or bring your hands under the head. And just let your back rest here for a moment. If movement feels good for you, you might rock the pelvis from side to side. You could send a couple of breaths towards the back if that feels okay, allowing the in-breath to gently open along the structures in the back. And then with your next few breaths, bring yourself back onto all fours. And we're going to start with a little bit of movement, a little bit of circling the weight. So bring hands either on the shoulders or a bit wider. Knees could be under the hips or they could be a bit wider. And then we'll just gently circle the weight. From hands to knees, knees to hands. And very much depending on your back, you can add movement along the spine. Or you might just want to keep your spine quite neutral. Focus on moving through the hips and through the shoulders. And then we could change the direction. Notice how you're breathing here. And if you find yourself holding your breath at any point, just take a moment to really focus on your breaths. Sometimes this kind of dysfunctional breath patterns can cause or be part of our back pain as well. So it is important that we keep breathing. And then we're going to bring ourselves to center. And now find a stable place on all fours. And we're going to find that core engagement here. So just take a couple of breaths. And with those exhalations, find that kind of subtle drawing in without changing that neutral alignment in your spine. And once you feel you've found that support, as you exhale, lift your right leg up in the air behind you. And just try to find your leg roughly to the same height as your back. So we're not lifting up, we're more reaching behind us. And then we breathe here. And now we try to maintain that kind of drawing, squeezing in through the sides, through the deep abdominals, through the deep back muscles. So we're sending our in-breaths more to the chest and ribs, that kind of lateral Pilates breathing. Keep your neck in a long line. You can go back to that hissing breath at any point. One more breath here. And then slowly bring that right leg down. Just rock the weight a bit from side to side. If needed, you can adjust your hands. And then we'll do the same to the other side. So find a stable place on your right knee, both hands. Exhale, drawing in through the core. And then lift your left leg up behind you. And again, really focus on keeping that stable support along the spine and lift only to a place where there's no pain. And we're trying to lift the leg only so high up that it's not disturbing that neutral alignment of the spine. So for some of us, it might be lower down. And breathing here. Keeping neck free. And really pressing down through the arms, through the hands. One more breath here. And then we'll bring that left leg down. Bring both knees down and we go back into child's pose, and you can make a same or a different choice for your legs. Are they close together, far apart? If you want, you can bring arms next to the legs, or again you might bring hands under the head. Just so you can take the pressure off the wrists, pressure off the arms for a bit. And you could take a few deeper breaths in and out. So now we're more softening than engaging. And then we are going to come back up and onto all fours from that child's pose. If you have the towel there, you can push that aside. And then we're going to come on to the right side. We're going to go into side planks. So from that child's pose, we're going to go into side planks. And I'm suggesting a bit more gentle version. So on the right side, come onto your right elbow and right forearm. You could either have the right hand as a fist, or you might turn your right hand onto the mat. And then have your left leg straight and have the right knee bent. So that from here, When we exhale, we lift the pelvis off the mat and we find ourselves on the right knee, the right elbow. And now we're really focusing on drawing in through the right side, lifting the right side of the pelvis, the right side of the torso away from the mat, and really engaging through the obliques, through the side, but still also keeping drawing in through the front. And breathing here. Having that right knee on the mat might give us a bit more time, so we're not instantly shaking in the arms. You could reach left arm up towards the ceiling, or you could bring left hand onto your side. But really the focus is on the lower side. It could be that the left arm reaching up helps you to lift up. It might give that little extra boost into that lift. Take another breath in and out. Again, those hissing exhalations can really help to remind you, keep the core engaged. And then slowly exhale, release down. Release the arms. And we're going to change to the other side. You can turn whichever way on your mat. I'm just going to turn my head to the other side so I can keep facing you. So now, same on the other side. We're going to come onto the left elbow, the left forearm, and we're going to bring the left knee on the mat, kind of the outside of the left knee, and extend the right leg. So we're kind of lining up everything into roughly the same line. Breathe in. Breathe out. So drawing in, and then lift the left side of the pelvis off the mat. And now focus on lifting up through the left side. Again, the obliques, the whole side body lifting away from the mat. If it helps, right arm could reach up, or right hand could be on the side. And this side might be very different. You might need to find a different height. I know that on this side I have to stay lower down, and that's my limit. So find your limit. And again, remind yourself with that hissing exhalation that we need to keep drawing in. We need to keep engaging through the core. Let's take another breath here. The in breath could more move to the ribs, to the chest. And then exhale, slowly release, control your way down. Try not to collapse, no sudden movements, but moving with control. And then you have an option to either go into child's pose, so you could do one more child's pose, or if you have a bolster or some kind of a pillow there, you could also come lie down on top of that bolster so that the bolster is supporting your chest, your belly, maybe your pelvis as well. And head might then lean over the bolster, and you could bring hands under the head. So this might be another way to release the back. It might be a bit more gentle than a child's pose. But it offers that release, and it offers that support from underneath. Just let your breath relax here. You can find any place for your arms. If it's not having hands under head, maybe it's overhead, maybe it's next to your sides, or it could be some kind of a T shape. Just any place where you could now release the shoulders, the upper back, the neck, maybe the whole back if possible. And just let the breath calm down. take at least a couple more breaths here and just see how you are feeling along your back now. It might be that you feel this is a good place to stop. So you are very welcome to stop here and to stay in either this resting pose, or you might find your final resting pose. But if a downward facing dog sounds like something you would like to try, something that might feel nice in your back, I would invite you to join me in one downward facing dog. So if you want, bring hands under shoulders and then draw in through the belly, really trying to keep your back in one piece, lifting yourself onto hands and knees. If you have a bolster there, you can push it aside and then tuck the toes under and inhale, lift the pelvis up. Exhale, start settling into your downward dog. Now, the reason my back likes downward dog at the moment is because I can find that lengthening through the back. So really focusing on reaching the pelvis away from the hands, trying to find that axial extension, like somebody's pulling my head and my pelvis in opposite directions. So this downward dog really offers that kind of release in the lower back, like somebody's creating space, more space along the back, and release in the neck as well, so I can let my heavy head hang down. I might give a nice opening for the backs of the legs as well, if that's part of your back pain, maybe some tension in the hamstrings. And then slowly, let's start to come down. If you are in that downward dog, just slowly bring yourself down. And then we are going to find our final resting pose. Now that could be any pose of your choice. You might rest lying down on your back, maybe bring a bolster under your knees. I'm going to lie down on my belly. At the moment, that seems to be a better place for my back, but find any resting pose that you know feels rather good in your back. If there's nothing that feels really good, that's okay. Just find the easiest shape for your back now. And then let yourself just settle in for a moment. Let yourself do a little check-in. How your back is feeling now. If you feel that you need to add any movement to your resting pose, feel free to do that. Sometimes staying still is the most challenging thing. So if movement releases your back, allow yourself to move. And then slowly you can either start to bring yourself up into a seat from your resting pose, or you could stay for longer. Really try to follow what feels good for you, for your back right now. If you feel tired after this practice, just let yourself rest a bit longer. You might also change your resting pose. When you feel ready, you can slowly start to bring yourself up into a seat. But as I said, if rest is what you need now, then let yourself rest. When you are ready to end today's practice, before you go, make sure that you thank yourself. Always thank yourself for taking some time to practice, to check in with your body. Maybe today, checking in with your pains, not always an easy thing to do, and for checking in with your breath. I thank you very much for joining in. I hope the practice was helpful to you, and remember to keep listening to your body and your breath, and I'll see you in the next video. Namaste. Thank you.